Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we sit down with Susan Metzger, Assistant Secretary of Agriculture, to discuss the new water technology farms in Kansas. And Inside Kansas Ag, KDA gives us important information from the Department of Ag, and Kansas Wheat talks to us about barley yellow dwarf and wheat. And in News You Need to Know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Weed Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association. Supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. The USDA's National Corn Condition Rating shows signs of decline. The overall rating of all U.S. corn was only down 2% to 74% good to excellent. But there are concerns of extreme weather conditions in some key growing areas. 91% of U.S. soybeans are blooming and 72% are in good to excellent condition. 68% of spring wheat is also rated good to excellent. The value of farm real estate in the U.S. averaged $3,010 per acre for 2016. The USDA says regional changes in the average value of farm real estate range from a 3.3% increase in the Pacific region to a 4.3% decrease in the Northern Plains region. The highest farm real estate values were in the Corn Belt region at $6,290 per acre. Meanwhile, the pasture value remained consistent at $1,330 per acre. No genetically modified wheat has been found in a crop from Washington State that had been found to be growing an unimproved biotech variety back in June. The quarantine grain will now be allowed to enter into the marketplace. The discovery had prompted importers such as Japan and South Korea to suspend purchases of some U.S. wheat. South Korea, who is the fifth largest buyer, said it will continue testing incoming U.S. wheat and reject any loads containing rogue wheat. And in local news, the Farm and Ranch Production Expenditure Report for 2015 for the state of Kansas totaled $20 billion, which was up 6% from 2014, according to USDA's NASS. Livestock expenditures at $7 billion accounted for 38% of the total in 2015, which was an increase of 13% from 2014. Feed at $3.2 billion increased 19% from 2014, and rent at $1.4 billion increased 5%. Kansas's 2016 corn production is forecasted at a record high of 660 million bushels, 14% above last year's production, according to USDA's NASS. Kansas soybean production is forecasted at a record high of 164 million bushels, up 11% from last year. Winter wheat production is forecasted at 462 million bushels, up 43% from 2015's crop. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment is reporting the first reported case of West Nile virus for 2016. The individual that tested positive is an adult from Thomas County. West Nile virus is spread to people primarily through bites from infected Culex species mosquitoes, although the virus has been detected in more than 60 different mosquito species in the U.S. West Nile is not contagious from person to person. In 2015, there were 34 cases of West Nile virus in Kansas. Up next in our Ag Feature, we sit down with Susan Metzger, Assistant Secretary of Agriculture, to discuss the new water technology farms in Kansas. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. kla.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business, providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Thanks for staying with us this morning. We're in Manhattan at the Kansas Department of Agriculture's office. We're joined by Susan Metzger, who's the Assistant Secretary of Agriculture. And you know, Susan, she's been on the show several times, so It's good to see you.
Likewise.
We talked about this in the show, I guess 2 or 3 weeks ago, is the new water farms going on here in the state of Kansas. It's exciting.
It is very exciting. So they're water technology farms. It's an idea that came from the Water Vision that we developed a few years ago. What we heard is individuals would like to see on a field scale the latest and greatest irrigation technology and irrigation management techniques, and that's their purpose.
Well, and they are designed and they're in an area that is typically pretty dry in the state. So no better place to have these and really test them out, field test them, I guess you might say, is in the western part of the state.
That's right. So we have 3 in place right now, 2 in Finney County and 1 in Pawnee County. And like you mentioned, that's an area over the Ogallala where we are focusing a lot of attention in declines. And so it's a chance, we have 3 different farmers that have opened up their land to try different irrigation technology, crop rotations, you name it. And we just had our first field day here a couple of weeks on one of them.
And not only that, we're at a feedlot, I believe, is another one of the locations. So
that's certainly our aim. So we have the 3 in place right now, and those are all irrigation farms. And we are really interested in doing the same thing at livestock facilities, both dairy and confined animal operations, so that we can see and showcase what's out there as a good technique for managing our water resources.
Well, not only that, but I'm assuming biotechnology comes into play when we talk about crops that are growing. So is that a part of conserving water, I guess?
It certainly is. In particular at the Willis Technology Farm, mostly what they're looking at is the opportunity of the different types of crops that they are selecting, but then even looking down at the soil level, the amendments that you can add to the soil to help improve their moisture retention. It's not just truly just on a technology standpoint, but even at, like you say, the biotechnology side too.
So when we talk about managing the water, we're talking about amount that is put out, the amount that is, I guess, absorbed into the soil, soil monitors and things like that. I mean, how does it all come into play to saving a farmer water?
You bet. So these technology farms really focus not just on conservation, but efficiency and effectiveness. So the Willis Technology Farm is probably our largest example, and he is deploying on 8 different circles, on 4 of them what we call Dragon Line, which is mobile drip irrigation technology, and on the other 4 traditional center pivot technology. and comparing the savings that you could get from those different irrigation applications. But then on each of those fields, he has at least 2 soil moisture probes. And then he uses that data to help him understand whether or not he needs to add more or less water. And the great thing about those is it really gave him some important information. In the absence of these soil moisture probes in a typical year, he would have started early June irrigating. And with the information that he got from the soil moisture probes, he was able to delay his irrigation by 2 full weeks. It's a huge savings.
It is. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to finish up with Susan Metzger. We're in Manhattan, and we'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Thanks for staying with us. We're in Manhattan at the KDA office. We're joined by Susan Metzger, who is the Assistant Secretary of Agriculture, and we're talking about water technology farms here in the state of Kansas. There are 3.
That's right.
And before we went to break, you were talking about delaying watering because he had his soil probes in the ground.
Right.
Now, having canopy versus non-canopy beans and corn, later into the growing year, are you seeing some of the same returns, that he's not having to water as often?
Well, we certainly are seeing that he's having good moisture retention in his soil this year. And the other thing that we find in these 2 parallel applications of the mobile drip irrigation versus the traditional center pivot, that mobile drip dragon line technology puts the irrigation water directly on the soil. And so you can really see some differences in the way the profile changes and how it retains the moisture compared to where you have the dragon line versus the typical center pivot irrigation that might drop the moisture, higher up in the canopy.
In the first segment, we talked about biotechnology that goes into it, but sorghum being more of a drought tolerant crop here in the state of Kansas versus, say, beans or corn. What is he seeing?
Well, right now, this being the first year that he's deploying it, he is just making sure that he's trying a variety of crops so that you can really say that there has some true applicability of this type of irrigation technology to not just corn, not just wheat, but a variety. So this year, first year out of the gate, we don't have those types of data, but he is at least hoping to show the applicability of different types of crops.
And what did the governor think about it? He came out to your field day.
He sure did. So really the idea of these water technology farms is not to operate them in a vacuum, really to open the doors and allow lots of folks to come and see firsthand what it looks like. And so we hosted the first technology farm earlier this month, and the governor came out to kind of kick it off. And we were hoping a great attendance to us would have looked like 50 people.
Right.
That's a typical field day, a good turnout, and we had more than 150 people show up. And what I liked is it wasn't just folks like me, people who are paid to show up and go to those types of things, but lots of farmers and ranchers in Southwest Kansas that wanted to check the stuff out, and I thought that was a real success.
And we want to make sure that we thank K-State for their work that's being done.
Absolutely.
In this also. If someone's interested in being a water technology farm, how can they find out?
Well, we definitely want more people participating. So we have the 3 farms. We want these to be in areas very accessible throughout, especially western Kansas. And so if somebody would like to participate in something like this and try out different technology, they should contact the Kansas Water Office. We can go to their website at www.kwo.org, give them a call, and express your interest.
Perfect. And I think it says a lot about farmers who are wanting to conserve water here in the state.
Absolutely.
You have 150 of them show up. I think that says a lot about what producers are doing in the state and the resources that they're wanting to protect for all the citizens here in the state of Kansas. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. We'll see you in just a minute. If you would like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call, 785-580-3287.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
The Kansas State Fair is a special time of year, and the Kansas Department of Agriculture is always excited to be a part of it, assisting with a variety of areas ranging from animal health and food safety to agriculture education and advocacy. Our trademark program, From the Land of Kansas, will feature a booth in the Pride of Kansas building all week. Chef Allie will give live cooking demonstrations on both weekends, and many of our member companies will be featured in the booth, offering tasting opportunities and selling their From the Land of Kansas products. KDA will be at the AgriLand booth, which is also in the Pride of Kansas building. Children visiting AgriLand will gain hands-on experience, learning how Kansas crops and livestock provide us with food and other items we use every day. Our Division of Animal Health staff will be providing biosecurity services to the thousands of livestock exhibitors bringing animals to show at the fair. Exhibitors must present inspection forms to help ensure the safety of all animals and exhibitors. Our food safety and lodging program personnel will be present to inspect the food vendors and to provide education and assistance to all of the vendors, ensuring that food preparation areas are clean, food is prepared and stored safely, and that workers are following proper food handling guidelines. The Kansas Department of Agriculture encourages all Kansans to head to the fair to enjoy all of the exhibits, entertainment, competitions, and educational displays. The Kansas State Fair is a wonderful showcase of Kansas agriculture, industry, and culture, as well as an educational and entertaining experience that is the pride of all Kansans. To find out more about the Kansas State Fair, go to kansasstatefair.com.
Until now, resistance to the aphid vectored virus, known as barley yellow dwarf, has been limited at best in wheat. This serious wheat disease in Kansas has had reports of yield losses of up to 35%. Suggested risk management practices such as adjusted planting dates and using insecticides are effective in the short run, but not enough to control the disease as a whole. What if there was a way to beat this disease once and for all? Research led by scientist Bernd Freeby at Kansas State University and the Wheat Genetics Resource Center may provide a way to control barley yellow dwarf through fabricated genetic resistance. The objective of his current research project is to identify naturally occurring sources for barley yellow dwarf resistance and transfer them into adapted Kansas winter wheat cultivars. The use of cultivars with genetic resistance to the virus or the aphid vector is the most economic and practical way of controlling barley yellow dwarf. Freeby says for the environment, it's always the best solution if you can use native resistance. If you have genetic resistance, then it doesn't matter if the vector is floating around. They can do whatever they want to the plant and not infect it. Value in the end will be added back to farmers who can use the resistant wheat in their fields, eliminating the need to unsuccessfully control aphid populations or time their planting just right. The future for barley yellow dwarf may be bleak, but the future for farmers is bright.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand. And I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
New in 2016, the Kansas Junior Livestock Show will be offering exhibitors an opportunity to compete in the KJLS Lead Challenge. The challenge is an educational and advocacy event that provides an opportunity to learn about current industry issues, including animal health and welfare, modern agricultural production, water, sustainability, and more. Competition in the Lead Challenge encourages KJLS exhibitors to develop not only the ability to show livestock, but also a more well-rounded knowledge of animal agriculture. All youth exhibiting at the Kansas Junior Livestock Show are eligible to enter the challenge. Exhibitors in the senior division will compete in showmanship, go through an interview process, and take a written exam. Juniors will compete in showmanship and be interviewed. The awards ceremony will be held at the conclusion of beef showmanship on Sunday, October 2nd. Additional components will be introduced over the next 2 show seasons, with 2018 being the first year of the full KJLS Lead Challenge. Exhibitors interested in participating in this year's challenge can register online at www.kjls.org or call the Kansas Junior Livestock Show main office at 316-706-9750. The deadline for registration for the challenge is August 31st.
Good morning. I'm Derek Hermish with Paragon Ag. On August 19th of last year, September KC wheat closed at $4.74, December corn was $3.79, and November soybeans were $8.94, using the board price. When compared to that same date 1 year later, in 2016, wheat was 55 cents lower, corn was 35 cents lower, and soybeans were $1.11 higher this year. One of those things is not like the other. If you are a farmer of all 3 commodities and you look at your potential revenue streams from all 3, it's pretty obvious which one is going to give you the most satisfaction to sell. It's reasonable to expect that farmers will sell the majority of soybeans before the year is out if they need cash flow, and potentially wait out the other 2 if they can. The rate of farmer selling does not dictate what price will do, but it is a reflection of overall supply and demand. If the previously mentioned scenario were to play out, you would expect lower soybean prices to come at harvest time, and then perhaps a decent rally at some point post-harvest. There is an old saying which states, the market can rally once the farmer has relinquished control. Old sayings don't dictate what price will do either, but they usually do survive long enough to be old sayings for a reason. South America's significantly increased soybean production over the last decade might be enough to break this old saying, so you shouldn't go betting the farm on it. But it's a reasonable scenario to ponder when you're figuring out your marketing plan for the next 6 months. I'm Derek Hermish. Have a good day.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Wheat Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association. Supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.